So I finally finished reading The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, the book that everybody tells me I should read because it's the golden standard for modern fantasy. So I read it, and I have one question. Did I read the same book as everyone else? No, seriously. The main character is so passive. His life is such a tragedy. If you thought that Frodo had it rough carrying the One Ring, wait until you hear about Fitz chivalry Farseer. Let's talk about it. I'm Father Roderick. I am a priest. I'm also an author of a fantasy book that I'm currently writing. And I love reading. I love it, especially if books have deeper layers. And that is why I was so interested in Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. After all, she is one of the most popular fantasy writers of our times. The book is beloved by fantasy readers. People say it's a must-read, a masterpiece, a work of genius. And I say, huh? Look, it is beautifully written. The world building is pretty solid. The character relationships are, complex, okay. But I have thoughts. And we're going to talk about spoilers, so consider yourself warned. Fitz chivalry Farseer, try saying that 5 times, is the illegitimate son of Prince Chivalry. And his very existence as a bastard is such a scandal that his father quits being a prince and disappears. So Fitz is dumped at the castle and raised by Burrich, a man whose idea of affection is mildly grunting in your direction. Fitz has a rare magical ability, and it's called the wit. And that lets him bond with animals. Sounds cool, right? Well, society disagrees. People think it's unnatural, a sign of weakness. Even Burrich, his father figure, treats it like Fitz has contracted some really creepy disease. Meanwhile, King Shrewd, who is only occasionally shrewd, decides that Fitz could be very useful if he is trained as a royal assassin. Sounds exciting, right? But where's the assassinating? Here's the problem. Fitz barely assassinates anyone. I was expecting Mistborn-level training montages, stealth missions, poison lessons, maybe a little stabby-stabby. Instead, Fitz spends most of his time running errands, and when he does get sent on a mission, it's vague, it's off-screen, barely relevant. He is less of an apprentice assassin and more of an intern assassin. The book gives us 2 magic systems. First of all, the wit. Fitz can bond with animals, but every time he does, something terrible happens. If you're thinking, ooh, like a loyal magical companion, nope. The dogs keep dying. It's like Game of Thrones, but for dogs. And then the second magic system, or the second element of the magic system, is the skill. This is a mind magic that is used for manipulation and communication. And Fitz is supposed to train in it, but doesn't really. He's bad at it. Other people use it against him. And by the end of the book, it barely feels like a strength. Compare that to, say, Mistborn. Vin learns her magic and she gets better and better. It matters to the plot. The whole elemency is like the central strength, I think, of the book. And here, the magic is mostly a source of pain. Fitz is not a bad character, but he is so passive. Things keep happening to him. He rarely chooses his path. Contrast this with, say, The Wheel of Time. Rand al'Thor doesn't want to be the Dragon Reborn, but he actively struggles with his destiny. He fights it. He makes bad choices, but at least he's doing something. Fitz, he mostly suffers. He mopes and survives. And that's kind of it. The main antagonist is Prince Regal. He is evil. He is arrogant. He makes no effort to hide his evilness, and nobody does anything about it. Seriously, this guy is obviously scheming. He treats Fitz like garbage. He makes blatant power grabs, and yet the royal court just shrugs and says, seems fine. This isn't Lord of the Rings, where Sauron is an abstract, distant threat. This is a man actively ruining everything in plain sight, and nobody stops him. So, should you read it? Look, I get why people love this book. It's rich, it's immersive, it's beautifully written, but is it fun? I don't think so, not really. It's slow, the protagonist doesn't do much, the magic never quite delivers, and there's so little action. If you love slow burn, introspective fantasy, this might be your thing. But if you're looking for something with a bit more momentum, if you want assassins actually assassinating, magic actually being used and serving something, and a protagonist who makes choices, well, then this may not be the book for you. And here's my dilemma. Should I continue the series? Everyone says it gets better. But does it really? Convince me in the comments. And otherwise, I might just go and read more Brandon Sanderson. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into fantasy books.